Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a phenomenal day to break down the latest, jaw-dropping developments in Port Charles. We have massive betrayals, systemic corruption, and explosive twists to discuss. So let's dive straight into the madness. I am shaking. I am literally typing this while the adrenaline is still coursing through my veins because what we just witnessed on General Hospital is the absolute definition of high-stakes, heart-stopping soap opera television. Can we be honest about this? The writers are pushing us to the absolute brink, and I am both furious and completely in awe. I cannot stay quiet about what Cassius Faison just pulled off. I mean, honestly, are we witnessing the most audacious, infuriating, and brilliantly executed villain arc of the decade? Because this episode just blew the roof off the PCPD, both metaphorically and literally. The sheer audacity of this man, wearing the face of a beloved hero, orchestrating a lethal trap for the mayor and the former police commissioner, it is madness. But it is exactly the kind of madness that makes this genre great. Let me say this clearly. Laura Collins is not a fool. She is a legacy heroine who has survived the Cassadines, the mob, and decades of Port Charles treachery. So, watching her hand over the highly classified intel regarding Jen Sidwell's secret hideout directly to Cassius was like watching a horror movie where you are screaming at the screen. We know he is not Nathan West. We know he is a monster, but Laura does not. And that is the tragic brilliance of this setup. She looked at that face, the face of a man she believes to be a dedicated public servant, a man who has fooled this entire town, and she trusted him with information that was meant to end a reign of terror. Instead, she handed him the matches to burn her alive. And what does Cassius do? Does he hesitate? Does he show even a microscopic fraction of a conscience? Absolutely not. He immediately pivots, picks up the phone, and tips off Ross Cullum. Because of course he does. The synergy between Cassius and Cullum right now is sickeningly effective. Cassius does not just warn Sidwell. He actively colludes with Cullum to rig the hideout with explosives. This is not just a dirty cop covering his tracks. This is an attempted assassination of the highest order. The writers are making a bold statement here. Cassius is not a misunderstood antagonist. He is a lethal, cold-blooded operative who will slaughter anyone, even the mayor, to maintain his cover and advance this twisted WSB-adjacent conspiracy. I need to talk about the execution of the explosion scene, because the pacing was an absolute masterclass in building dread. We watch Laura and Jordan approach that location. The cinematography is tight, the lighting is grim, and every single step they take echoes with impending doom. We, the audience, know the C4 is planted. We know Cullum did his dirty work. When Laura and Jordan breach that door, the silence before the blast is deafening. And then, boom. The practical effects, the stunt work, the sheer violent force of the explosion ripping through that structure was breathtaking. This was not a cheap, off-screen pop. This was a devastating, foundation-shaking detonation designed to kill. Am I supposed to pretend my heart did not stop when the smoke cleared? Seeing Laura and Jordan buried under the rubble, coughing, bleeding, and fighting for their lives is the kind of visceral storytelling that GH needs more of. We have seen these two women survive so much, but this felt different. This felt intimate and deeply violating. Jordan, a seasoned cop, relying on her pure survival instincts to pull Laura through the debris. The ringing in their ears, the disorientation, the terrifying realization that they were not just unlucky. They were expected. They were set up. But here is where the script truly shines. Laura Collins did not just survive. She woke up. In the dust and the blood, you could see the exact moment the gears in her head started turning. Laura immediately suspects a high-level mole. The information was too restricted. The leak was too fast. The explosion was too perfectly timed. She knows the call came from inside the house. I love that the writers are not dumbing Laura down for the sake of the plot. They are letting her be the smart, seasoned leader she is. She knows there is a rat, and she is going to start hunting. So, how does our resident psychopath handle the fallout? Ryan Pavey is delivering the performance of his career right now. The way Cassius struts onto the scene wearing that mask of deep, agonizing concern for the mayor, it makes my skin crawl in the best possible way. He plays the devastated, loyal cop to absolute perfection. He barks orders, he acts outraged that such a tragedy could occur, and he uses the chaos to cement his authority. It is a master manipulation of optics. He looks like the hero trying to save the day, all while wiping the blood of the victims off his own hands. It is infuriating, and it is brilliant soap acting. And then comes the move that actually made me yell at my television. Cassius, realizing that Jordan is too sharp, too experienced, and too close to the truth, uses his stolen authority to suspend her. Are you kidding me? He suspends Jordan Ashford. He spins it as a necessary protocol, framing her actions or her involvement as a liability, but we know the truth. He is silencing her. He is cutting off the head of the snake before she can bite him. It is a ruthless, tactical strike that proves just how dangerous Cassius is. He isn't just using violence. He is weaponizing the bureaucracy of the PCPD against its best officers. Let me vent about Jordan for a second, because this woman cannot catch a break, and it is driving me insane. She has given her blood, sweat, and tears to Port Charles. She was the commissioner. And to watch her be benched by a fake twin, a sociopath hiding behind a badge, is deeply degrading. But from a storytelling perspective, it is a necessary evil. By stripping Jordan of her badge and her resources, the writers are forcing her to go rogue. A cornered, pissed-off Jordan Ashford is the most dangerous kind of adversary, and Cassius has no idea the hellfire he just unleashed by taking away her official power. The structural collapse of the PCPD in this episode is a thing of dark beauty. With Jordan suspended, Laura hospitalized or recovering, and Cassius pulling the strings, the police force is in absolute shambles. Nobody knows who to trust. The chain of command is completely compromised. This is exactly how you write a systemic takeover. It is not just about one bad guy shooting people. It is about rotting the institution from the inside out. Cassius has successfully blinded the entire justice system of Port Charles, leaving them stumbling in the dark while the real monsters roam free. And because of this perfectly orchestrated chaos, Jen Sidwell escapes. Of course he does. While the PCPD is running around like headless chickens dealing with the explosion and the internal politics of Jordan's suspension, Sidwell slips through the cracks. It is a massive failure for the good guys, but a triumphant victory for the villains. Cassius served his purpose. He acted as the perfect shield, taking the heat and creating a diversion massive enough to let a high-value target like Sidwell vanish into the wind. I am frustrated, yes, but I have to applaud the airtight logic of the villain's strategy here. We have to look at the historical context of this. GH has done dirty cop storylines before. We all remember the days of Paul Hornsby or the various mob informants. But this feels heavier because of the legacy of Faison. Cassius is a Faison, and he is proving that the apple is permanently glued to the poisonous tree. He is using the exact same psychological warfare and theatrical violence that César Faison used to terrorize this town, but he is doing it from behind a badge. It is a brilliant subversion of Nathan West's pure legacy. The writers are desecrating Nathan's memory through Cassius, and it is a wildly effective way to generate nuclear-level heat from the audience. Because, let us face facts, Cassius is preparing to leave. We know his exit is looming, and this explosion is the catalyst for his final downfall. The crimes are escalating too fast. You cannot blow up the mayor and expect to maintain your cover for long. The walls are closing in. Dante is already suspicious. Elizabeth is putting the medical clues together, and now Laura knows there is a mole. Cassius is operating on borrowed time, and his arrogance is going to be his undoing. He thinks he won today, but all he did was paint a massive target on his own back. But until that hammer falls, the danger is suffocating. Laura and Jordan are in the crosshairs of a man who has nothing to lose and everything to hide. If Cassius realizes that Laura is onto him, he will not hesitate to finish the job he started at that warehouse. The stakes have never been higher. We are no longer dealing with simple blackmail or hidden identities. We are dealing with domestic terrorism orchestrated from the police commissioner's desk. The tension is palpable, and I am genuinely terrified for our legacy characters. This is why we watch people. This is the lifeblood of General Hospital. the frustration, the anger, the desperate hope that the villains will get their comeuppance, it is all working perfectly right now. I am exhausted, I am stressed, and I cannot wait for tomorrow's episode. Cassius Phazon has officially crossed the point of no return, and when the truth finally detonates in Port Charles, the fallout is going to be biblical. They better not rush this ending. They better give us the explosive payoff this masterpiece of a setup deserves.